This is Dr. with CMN presenting Ash on Talk on Birthmark. So hello Ash, how are you?
Hi there, how are you? I'm good, thank you very much.
I'm good too. So can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, my name's Ash Toure. I live in UK in London. I'm a Sikh British-born Asian. My profession, I work as Senior Youth Justice Practitioner. I am the founder of Toure's Hope. It's a non-profit organisation and also motivational speaker and life coach. So whatever my profession is in terms of rehabilitating young people and educating young people about, life, coming away from crime, as well as kind of leading on child sexual exploitation and supporting young girls. I try and bring that into my non-profit and support young women and youth in India especially.
So how's your life in your country?
So let's start from the beginning. When I was younger, obviously being visibly different, I've had surgery. So at the moment, visually looking at me, you probably can't see the scarring, etc. But I do have scarring on my hands from surgery, and I've had removal on my face. Bullying has always been an issue in terms of growing up. You know what children are like. They can be quite cruel. And I think it comes to a lack of knowledge. There wasn't a lot of knowledge in terms of congenital pigmented nevi, people looking different, and especially with my skin condition, when I was born, there wasn't a lot of kind of knowledge about what the condition is. So being in the UK, I think I was quite fortunate in terms of doctors, in terms of my early childhood. My first 3 months, my mum tells me I was in hospital because they were trying to figure out what this actual condition was, how they could support me. And again, in the early years up to about 5 to 7, there's a higher chance of cancer forming because CMN is a pigment, and that dark pigment, if exposed to sunlight, and because these birthmarks can form on the brain, on the spine, they can cause other health complications. So originally my surgery started to reduce that risk. And then later on, I remember having conversations with my mum and dad, and I think that was key as well, that my parents were very open, and it wasn't something that was just not spoken about, because in our community as well, in the South Asian community, we're not great at talking about disability, disfigurement, scarring, but I was lucky to have those conversations. Then later on, it became a decision of mine really to carry on with the surgery and try and have a normal, what I thought was a normal life. But at the end of the day, what is normal, what isn't? My life now I see as normal, as anybody else really. So yes, growing up was difficult. Then going on to school, university, you build friendships, again still hardships in terms of relationships and forming bonds, but I would say now as an adult, it's still hard. But I think as an adult, people are a little bit more accepting and understand. And now with social media, I think a lot of people want to learn about differences, which I think is fantastic.
How do both the communities, Asian as well as the people, react?
Yeah, I think in general, we're getting better here in the UK in terms of visible differences, in terms of disability. Again, as I said, social media plays a big part in that. However, my experience growing up in the UK, I felt that when I used to come back to India, my dad's originally from Delhi, my mum's originally from Mumbai. So I always felt when I came back to India, there was more staring, there was more, oh my God, what's happened to her? The old wives' tale, my mum used to get it. Is it something that you did during your pregnancy which caused the CMN? Was it because you wasn't happy when you was pregnant? So many different wives' tales. But actually the lack of knowledge, I believe, in our community, in the UK as well as India, I think is still an issue. I discovered an amazing group, the Nevis Outreach Group, in my 30s, which really changed my life as well, because it's the sense of belonging. I feel that growing up I didn't have that sense of belonging, and that was because I didn't know or see people with the same condition as me. And I think now that I have, I feel like I have a whole new family.
So were you bullied in your childhood?
Yes, as I mentioned before, growing up was very, very difficult. The bullying was very everyday. It was very consistent, if that makes sense. Children didn't understand what the skin condition was. Children didn't get the knowledge. And I think to some extent we have to, as an education department, in terms of schooling, in terms of our government, we need to bring a lot of kind of that into our syllabuses, whether that's India or the UK, you know, to talk more about what disability, what differences are. And I think that's so important because that gets missed. And I think sometimes parents are actually scared to acknowledge or actually talk about differences to their children. So, you know, I've always made a conscious effort with, you know, the children in my family, for example. You know, when I didn't have the non-profit, I'd always talk to my nieces about, oh, this is my skin condition, like what do you think, you know, do you want to touch the nevi, you know, those kind of things, because it takes away that scariness that sometimes people, you've kind of had it as well. You just know when a question is coming from a genuine place and when a question is coming with ignorance. So as adults now, we need to educate, you know, the initiative that you're taking, for example, just to get differences out there. I think these are the things that are really going to make a difference for the next generations. People are allowed to be who they want to be. You know, growing up, I had the birthmarks on my face, so I used to get bullied for that. Then later on, I decided that I wanted to wear a camouflage makeup that helps to kind of disguise
Cover
or,
up the
you know,
skin.
help the scarring. Yeah, and then, you know, I had negative comments with that. And now that I'm kind of embracing who I am, I still get, well, you wear makeup though. But actually, that's my choice. I wouldn't present myself in a certain way. So I think people get so bogged down with what they think is right and what they think is normal. We just pick up on negativity rather than just embracing people the way they are. So what, you know, if somebody chooses to wear makeup, not wear makeup, the size they are, the way they look, the color of the hair, like that is their choice. And I think we really need to understand that whatever choices people make, if you or me have not stepped out of our comfort zone to do the awareness we are, then maybe somebody else would be saying, well, actually, what's the point? So I really do think that it's got to start somewhere. And if influencers and people in the Hollywood, Bollywood industry jump on board, I really think we can make a difference. And I've been quite fortunate to have some people from the industry, in Indicore Cosmetics, who I've done a campaign with in terms of visible differences, which I think is so amazing. You know, her brand is very well known in India, especially Canada, UK, but to have that, just that little bit of belief from a company, a name that is known in India, to be linked with visible differences, for me, that's a step in the right direction.
So can we know something about your foundation, your non-profit organization?
It's called Two Rays Hope. My surname is Two Ray, so Two Rays Hope. So the double meaning there is my surname as well as Two Rays Hope. So my non-profit it started off as a journey of just kind of going to India. I love India. So originally I just wanted to go back and do some volunteering work, and it started with working with young women whose mothers were sex workers or are sex workers, and are looking for a better life. So the organization is called Granti in Mumbai. So I started with them. My non-profit was born. I just kind of got addicted. I got addicted, the unconditional love from the young people, as well as the need. Like we've already discussed, there's such a need in India to address vulnerabilities, disabilities, and also to educate our youth in terms of goals, aims, aspirations. So I bring my life coaching, my motivational speaking, and my professional knowledge in terms of child sexual exploitation, in terms of drug use, self-acceptance. I bring all that together and make bespoke workshops for the NGOs that I work with in India. So To Raise Hope has received, you know, lots of love from people. We're doing a campaign at the moment in terms of supporting palliative care, Happy Feet Home in Mumbai. I got a lot of attention and questions that are asked around my visible difference, around my skin condition. So through there, I started campaigning about visible differences and what that means to me, and also encouraging and giving talks on you know, goals, aims, and moving forward in life, that having a disability or a skin condition or an impairment, that doesn't mean it's the end of anything. Actually, it just means that we have to think creatively and be a little bit different about our path in life.
So where do you see yourself in the future years?
In terms of the universe guiding me, I'm a big believer in, you know, meditation. For me, God, the universe is one of, you know, the same thing. So for me, I would like to grow my non-profit. I would love to do some more work in India and hopefully make this, my path in life in terms of supporting and helping people that are struggling at times in their life. Growing the organization for me is yeah, my main aim and goal, and our mission is to educate and make people understand that no matter where they are, there is always hope and there is always someone that can help and direct you. You are never alone.
Can we know something about your patient's journey, the surgeries you've done, something about it?
My surgery kind of started the day I was born. They weren't sure what the condition was, so for a long time I was put kind of in an incubator. So it kind of started the day I was born. So overall, I would probably say I've gone over the 3 figures in terms of surgeries, in terms of laser treatment. So the main surgery that I had was they would cut off the nevi and then stitch up the skin. So hence why I've still got the scarring and stuff on my hand. So that was the best way in terms of getting the nevi off of the skin, basically. Many things were tried in terms of lasers, in terms of different methods, but that was kind of the best one moving forward. So I would say it was difficult because at times I would have, you know, 100 stitches in this hand, arm, 100 in there, 100 on my face. So I kind of was in a lot of pain at the time, to be honest. But again, because at times the world can be cruel, you want to fit in. So I continued with the surgery, and I think 50% was for me at that time because I was very young. And you know, being a teenager, you just want to fit in. You know, you just want to look like everybody else in and just be a certain way. I carried on with the surgery. But again, I'm thankful. I don't have any regrets because I think everything that we do in life, every path that we take brings us to where we are for a reason. Yes, it was painful. No, I don't have any regrets. And then I'm okay where I'm at. I had, you know, that journey of self-acceptance. I just embraced who I was and just thought, you know what, enough's enough. Because at times I was in hospital for 2 weeks and then come home another 2 weeks, I'd have the stitches in, I'd have to have the stitches removed, and then if there was any issues with the removing the stitches, you know, I'd have to go back. Then there was another 2 weeks healing, and then another 2 weeks I'd be back in hospital again. So literally all the nurses and everything, they had become my family. You know, hospital, I would say, was my first home rather than home being home. And yeah, though they gave me lots of love, support, and more than I could wish for in my journey throughout hospital, I think it's just such a personal choice. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer when it comes to should I have surgery, should I not. I would definitely like to tell parents of young children, please don't put pressure on yourself. Are you doing the right thing? Are you not? Because at the end of the day, your children know you've got their best interests at heart.
Any advice or something you want to say to the people with or without nevus?
In general, you know, with or without nevus, we all need to be kinder to each other, whether we have a visible difference, a disability, whatever it might be. You know, we need to be kind to each other. Again, my message to parents of children with nevus is, it's nothing that you've done, it's nothing that, you know, you could have changed or done, basically. And in your journey, if you are considering surgery, or what is best for your child, honestly, there is no right or wrong answer. Go with what feels right. And in terms of people with CMN and my family with CMN, I love the fact that we are one. I love the fact that we have a community, and just keep supporting each other and keep talking. It is you and your choice of how you want to be, and no one has the right to tell you this is right or this is wrong. Just follow your heart and follow your gut.